Oh. Oh.
Watch out, Bison!
Harbor Freight just came out with their brand new Badland Apex winch. It's rated at 12,000 pounds and it comes with a synthetic line. And honestly, it looks pretty good. Yeah. We all know Harbor Freight is notoriously known for bad, low quality tools. But if you've been paying attention lately, their stuff has gotten pretty good. So I couldn't help myself, and I had to go down to the Harbor Freight store, throw down one of those 20% coupons that they like to hand out, and I got this winch for about $600. Sure, I want to test it off-road like everyone else does, but I couldn't help but ask myself, do I trust this winch enough to hang my 4runner from the ceiling? Oh, and to add to the uncertainty, I decided to pair the winch with an eBay Tacoma off-road bumper. Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Oh, and by the way, we weren't sponsored by any of these companies to try this. I actually asked Harbor Freight if they'd send me a winch, but I never got a reply. It's probably because you are not supposed to hang things in the air with winches. Winches and hoists are different animals. A hoist is certified to hold a certain weight and has a safety brake in case it starts to fail. The safety brake will hold the object in the air and keep it from free falling and smashing down onto the ground. Winches, on the other hand, are designed to pull horizontal loads and aren't rated for any type of pulling into the air. More specifically, this winch has a cone brake, which is pretty nice. If you imagine a drum brake shaped like a cone to give it more surface area, that's pretty much what it is. In this first part, we decided to hang the 4runner solely from the D-ring shackles off of the eBay bumper. We attached extra long chains to the control arms as a safety chain in case the other one breaks. The 3/4 marking on the D-ring shackles means it's rated for 4 3/4 ton, so theoretically they should hold. I guess the only thing that worries me is the stitch welding on these brackets. As you can see, these gussets weren't fully welded. They look strong enough to hold it though, so I think it should be fine. We need to keep the car in neutral so the tires can freely roll, but I can't take the key out of the ignition by doing that. So I'm going to disconnect the battery because I don't want the airbag sensors to go off thinking that I'm flipping the truck over or something. Better safe than sorry, I guess.
Do you think this is gonna work?
We'll see. I give it 70, 30. Being honest.
John, do you think this is gonna work?
Yeah.
So he's an engineer, so if he says yes, I mean, they never mess up.
Yeah. Ask NASA.
Ask NASA, yeah. Alright, you should probably stand clear that way. You can see the bumper flexing just a little bit as we lift it up.
All 4 wheels are off, technically.
Oh my goodness.
So far, it looks pretty good. I think we're ready to hang it straight from the winch. For the winch test, we doubled up on the length of the safety chains so we can pull out as much line as possible on the winch. In case you didn't already know, a 12,000 pound winch doesn't mean it can pull 12,000 pounds throughout the whole spool of its rope. Think of it as gearing on your bike or applying leverage with a longer pole. The amount of rope wrapped around the spool will greatly affect how much you can pull. As you can see, you're all the way down to 6,000 pounds when you don't have much line pulled out. So it's always best to pull out as much as you can.
So I don't need to be on this.
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Badlands Winch. Oh yeah. "100% Badlands."
So I'm just worried about this.
If you're pulling it south.
You want me to hold the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something goes, let it go. Don't try it.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I don't know. I think if you actually left it like, I mean, you're getting, I think it's got plenty of strength in the damn thing. Hold on, AJ. That's gonna go.
I'm feeling it.
Hold on. I think this is a good focal point. Hold on.
Pivoting on the.
My favorite thing, hang on. You're off the tire completely. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's gonna, AJ, you're gonna ruin your truck. It's gonna flip it on its side.
Yeah.
You can see that the winch, even without the line fully extended, is pulling the 4runner up pretty easily. There's no bogging of the motor, and it sounds very strong. Unfortunately, there's no way to keep the 4runner from wanting to tip over, as it's only hanging from one point on the bumper. It wants to spin like a top.
What's this? Here.
Is it leaking?
Yeah, what the heck is this? This was underneath the car.
Yes! Dude, that was pretty good, man. That was pretty good. I wasn't happy with how high we lifted it, so we decided to lift the 4runner up by the D-rings and then lift it up from the winch as it's hanging. We'll see if it can do it on its own power. When we first shortened the chains, they were pulling at the shackles at very extreme angles, and once you start doing that, the shackle ratings actually begin to lower quite significantly. In order to avoid that, we put a spreader bar right above them to keep the pulling angles more vertical.
Look at that tail hitch.
I don't know, man. I don't like that idea.
What?
There's sure some cracking up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. I did this, the wings got the weight on it.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, well, the winch picked it up, but we can't keep it from spinning. Unfortunately, this is the highest we were able to get it without the 4runner tipping over. I really wanted to get it higher, but as you can see, I almost screwed up my truck by doing so. And of course, you can't end a video about off-roading without showing some off-roading. Anytime you're adding unsprung weight, like bigger wheels and tires, or sprung weight, in my case, over 200 plus pounds of a winch and bumper, you're putting a lot more forces on the front end. Toyotas are already notorious for getting bumped out of alignment when you hit that pothole or boulder a little bit too hard. So I needed a little bit of insurance to prevent an unwanted trip to the alignment shop. I installed these brand new stop cam bolts from Bison Offroad. These things are awesome. I don't think I'll ever get knocked out of alignment with these. If you want to know more information on these stop cam bolts, check out the link in the description below, and I have an in-depth, detailed video on how to install these on your Tacoma 4runner FJ Cruiser. So we decided to go into Lytle Creek to test out a few things, including the winch. There's a lot of people here playing in the snow. The snow players. Yeah. All these people parked on the f***ing street, like, that's ridiculous. This is where the pavement ends and the fun begins. Our plan was to plow through the snow and find a nice place in these mountains to get stuck and test out the winch. However, this is how far we got with the traffic. At this point, it was dead stopped and there was just people parked all over the street. I couldn't believe it. But having an off-road rig doesn't mean you have to get stuck in traffic. So we turned back around and decided to take this route and bypass the traffic to get to our final destination. And it turned out to be more than we can ask for.
I know. I want to see you.
Oh man, she's lobbing out Centra. Is he stuck?
No, they're playing.
Are you sure? It looks like he's trying to get branches.
Oh, ask him.
Okay, well. Are you stuck? I have a winch, I can pull you out. Will the Harbor Freight winch save the Jeep? Find out in part 2 where we pick up right where we left off and you can watch the Harbor Freight winch in action. Click right here, right now to watch the video or check out the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys.